Right, today we're going to be making this piece. Because I've got the rotary table already set up from making the con rod, I'm going to leave it in on the mill and make this piece while it's on there, while it's already centered and set up, save me having to set it up again. So that's the piece we're going to make today. I've already got it clamped in the mill, so let's get over to the mill and get some of these radiuses cut on there. The first cut I'm going to make is this outside radius, and then I'm just going to move the table about just to establish these points for the holes, just to make sure I've got enough clearance all the way around this piece to cut it out of it. Just got to swap this bit out for a 6mm. Got the initial radius marked now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these holes in. I'm going to position those holes. That'll just give me some guidance of where I'm going. I'll be able to picture it better with these holes in. So I'm going to get the coordinates for the holes, get those punched in first. Right, I now need to move the table 8.5mm that way to give me 2.5mm clearance. Let's get the door. Right, the table's got to go 8.5 that way, which will put my cutter in this slot here and give me 2.5mm there, so I can now cut this slot. Right, I've worked it out so that I've got to go 16 degrees now, which will bring the edge of the cutter 2.5mm in from the center of this 20 degrees. Not sure if that's making sense, but you can see the drawing and figure it out for yourself. Got this outer formed now, and also this center slot is cut. So now I'm going to come down and I'm going to cut this, and that little bit on the end. Right, this slot here is cutting this face, and the back of the cutter, if you can imagine the cutter is there now. I'm now in the correct position with the cutter, which is 68.5, to come back 2.5 millimeters off of there. Then that's where the cutter needs to be to cut this part here, to leave 2.5 millimeters in there. So we've got 2.5 millimeters that side. When I swing this round, the cutter edge of the cutter should be there, and that will then create the 2.5 millimeters there. Right, what I've formed so far is this outside edge, this middle groove, and this part here. And what I'm going to do now is just take it out and form this internal radius. I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to form this internal radius, this shape here and here, and then I'm going to put it back in, use some pins to center it on the rotary table to form these radiuses around here. What I've done for this bit here, I've scribed a line on, I'm going to follow that line, and also the same for this one, because I don't really know any other way of doing it, so I've just marked it out and scribed a line. Then I'll set the table up so that I can follow the line, and then I'll take it out and do these radiuses off of a pin. Right, I've got that cut now, and I've got that cut. So all I need to do now is to reposition these and cut the radiuses. What I need to do is put a 4mm pin in, 4mm gauge pin, so I can line up the holes. I've got to reposition the table back to 00, and then I can use a gauge pin to find the center of these holes, and then I can move the table around and cut the radiuses. So let's set the table back to 00. Right, what I do is I'll put a pin in to find the centre now. I'll just lock the quill down, and now I can reposition the stops. Sorry, I can reposition the clamps to clamp it down. Got to remember the cutout is still connected to this plate, and it will be, because I haven't gone all the way through on these two centre pieces. So I'll just clamp it back down, release that, check that, yep, so I know where exactly centre the table is centred. So now I can put my bit back in there, my 6mm bit, go back. Right, I've got a 6mm cutter in now, so I need to go back 3mm to get the edge of the cutter on centre point, and then I need to go back 4mm to get the correct radius, so I need to go back 7mm in total. If I wind the table back 7mm, 7mm, we should now be exactly on the edge of that radius, which we are. Right, from my current setup I need to go 284 degrees in this direction and 97 in that direction to give me the correct radius position on that one. Right, gonna put the pin back in, reposition it on that one, and do the same again. Right, to set up the repositioning, I just slacken off the clamps. So I'm going to move this hole, move the piece until we get it in the hole. There we go. Lock the quill off, and might reposition that clamp actually to over there, just to make sure it doesn't interfere with the turning point. Lock those down. Yep. Obviously I've centered the table first. So now I'll swap this bit out again for the cutter and move 7mm off. Same procedure for repositioning for this hole. Right, I've done that one now. Just going to skim a little bit off the surface because this is 6mm and it needs to be 5mm, so I'm going to take 1/2mm off this side and just 1/2mm off the other side. This is still connected via this channel and this channel, so let's just skim a bit off the surface first. Right, let's take it out so you can have a look at it. That's the other side. As you can see, it's still connected. So now I'm going to flip it over, skim off the other side, and release it. Right, let's just get it cleaned up. There we go, that's the finished piece. That is this piece. obviously the other way round, and that goes, it's actually this piece here operates the steam valve for the forward and reverse. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. I would also appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button, because that will enable me to grow the channel so that I can keep making these videos. Please leave a comment or a question. I do read all of the comments and reply to as many as I can. Thanks for watching.